Now we get to the traditional orchestral instruments. So I'm going to start off with the strings, and the solo violin is probably the best example in this string collection. And you're going to hear the dynamic filter when I play this instrument. It's only got one recorded dynamic layer, but thanks to the dynamic filtering, we really get a good change in timbre, and it really adds to the realism of the instrument as you change the dynamics. The layout's pretty much the same as it was for the piano, there's just a few extra controls. So the volume, that's not only the volume, it's the whole dynamic, so that controls the dynamic filter. Vibrato can be added using a continuous controller, which really adds to the realism, and I'll show you that later on. The legato control here is to turn legato on and off, and then legato is actually triggered by playing two notes connected, so sort of overlapping. If you hold down the piano keys, if you play one note and then play a second while holding the first, you'll get legato. And if you play the second note at a velocity lower than 25, it'll create a portamento slide. We've allowed you to slide the whole range of the instrument, which is unrealistic, but we didn't want to limit the virtual instrument. You can do things with it that you can't do with the real one. The length control is for the length of the slides and the legato transitions. And if you play around with that, if you're playing something slower, you'll probably want to increase that and decrease it if you're playing something quicker. The rate control, this controls the vibrato rate, and it also controls trill speed. The trills in this library are simulated, which reduces the realism somewhat, but it means you have more control over it, and you can change the speed. The reverb and round robin controls are exactly the same as they were for the keyboard instruments. Over here, the red keys, these are key switches. They're all detailed in the user manual. Sustain, staccato, pizzicato, tremolo, and then these are 4 different types of trill. As well as all that, you can play accents on the notes if you are on a sustain patch, and I think it also works on the tremolo patch. If you press the note at a velocity greater than 64, that'll trigger a short accent, which is actually a staccato sample, before the sustain note. The controls in the control panel here are pretty much the same for the woodwinds and the brass, as well as all the other stringed instruments. So as you can hear, it's quite a versatile instrument. I want to demonstrate the vibrato now, and what I'm going to do is set the volume at full and then fade in and fade out the vibrato so you can hear the effect. So now you've seen how the basic controls work, I'm just going to go through the rest of the string section and demonstrate the sound of each instrument.